Everyone told you to just be yourself. And if you actually did that, really tried it, you probably noticed something deeply uncomfortable. It didn't work the way they promised. Not in the job interview, not on the first date, not in the room full of people who seemed to have it all figured out while you stood there being authentic and somehow still invisible. Here's what nobody will say out loud. The world doesn't actually reward the people who stay the same in every room. It rewards the ones who know how to shift. And today I'm going to show you the psychology behind why it's not as fake as you've been taught to believe. Let me describe someone real quick. This person walks into a social situation and immediately starts reading the room. Not in a creepy way, just quietly. They notice who's laughing too loud, who's holding back, what kind of energy the group is running on. Within 5 minutes, they've adjusted. Their vocabulary shifts a little. Their posture changes. They laugh at slightly different things than they would 20 minutes ago at home alone. They're not lying. They're not performing. But they're also not the same person they were 5 minutes ago. And here's the uncomfortable part: everyone in that room likes them. The boss respects them. The new people feel instantly comfortable around them. The alpha of the group somehow treats them as an equal. Meanwhile, the person who showed up as themselves, unfiltered, consistent, take it or leave it, is standing near the snack table wondering why connection always feels so hard. If any part of that felt personal, good. That means this video is for you. Now, before I explain why this happens, I want you to sit with a question for a second. Why do the people we often call fake seem to move through the world so much more easily? Why do they get the promotions, the social circles, the opportunities, while the people with the most genuine hearts sometimes struggle to even be heard? There's a hidden pattern behind this, a psychological mechanism that most people walk past every single day without ever noticing it. And the really strange part? The more you try to fight it, the more you insist on being purely yourself in every situation, the more it actually works against you. Ironically, the obsession with authenticity might be the very thing keeping you stuck. I know that sounds wrong. Stay with me. Let's talk about what's actually happening inside the brain. Your brain has this ancient, deeply wired system called the social evaluation network. It's not a trendy psychology term. It's a cluster of real neural regions, including the amygdala, the prefrontal cortex, and something called the temporoparietal junction, and its entire job is to ask one question on loop. Am I safe in this group? Do these people accept me? This is innate vanity. This is innate insecurity. This is survival code written into your biology over hundreds of thousands of years. For most of human history, being rejected from the tribe didn't just feel bad. It was death. So your brain learned very quickly, very early, to scan the room and adapt, to match energy, mirror language, adjust behavior based on who had power and who had warmth. Think of it like this. Your personality isn't one fixed program. It's more like a phone with multiple apps. Some apps are running at home. Some apps run at work. Some apps only open around your mom. Some you haven't opened since high school. And here's the thing, that's not a glitch. That's the feature. The problem isn't that you adapt. The problem is whether you're doing it consciously or whether it's running you. There's also a concept in social psychology called mirroring. You've probably heard of it. But most people don't understand how deep it goes. Mirroring isn't just copying someone's body language to make them like you, though. Yes, that works, and yes, politicians and salespeople use it constantly. Mirroring is what your brain does automatically when it senses a social environment worth entering. Your speech patterns shift. Your emotional register matches the room's. Even your values, the things you think you believe, get subtly recalibrated depending on who's listening. And here's the part that makes people uncomfortable. This doesn't make you a hypocrite. It makes you human. Every single person does this. The difference is that some people do it so skillfully, so fluidly, so naturally that it stops looking like adaptation and starts looking like charisma. Let me show you exactly how this plays out in real life. You wake up Tuesday morning. You're yourself, whatever that means. You have your opinions, your quirks, your baseline energy. You get to work. Your manager is intense, direct, no small talk. Within about 30 seconds, something shifts in you. You drop the warmth. You get concise. You mirror the efficiency. They think you get it. Lunch with a coworker who's going through something hard. Now you slow down. Your voice softens. You ask questions instead of giving answers. You become the version of you that listens. They feel understood. After work, you're on the phone with your best friend. You're completely different again. You're louder. You're funnier. You say things you'd never say in a meeting. They feel close to you. Now here's the question. Which one was the real you? All of them. Every single one of those versions is you. You weren't lying in any of those moments. You were doing something most people don't even realize is a skill. You were reading the room and responding to it. And the people around you? They didn't feel manipulated. They felt met. That's the secret no one puts in the Be Yourself speech. But here's what no one tells you. The people who do this best, the ones who seem to thrive in every social environment, who get the opportunities, who build the networks, who seem to just click with everyone there, not doing it randomly. They've developed something called high social intelligence. And social intelligence isn't about being fake. It's about understanding that every person you meet is operating inside their own reality, their own fears, their own status anxieties, their own need to feel seen, and meeting them inside that reality instead of forcing them into yours. The rigid version of just be yourself essentially says, here I am, take it or leave it, which emotionally registers as, my comfort matters more than your experience of me. That's not authenticity. That's self-centeredness wearing authenticity's clothing. The truly rare personalities, the ones this video is really about, they figured out something profound. Identity isn't a cage. It's a toolkit. They don't lose themselves when they adapt. They bring themselves fully into each context. They just choose which part of themselves to lead with. That's not deception. That's mastery. And before you go thinking this is just a permission slip to be manipulative, let me flip something for you. Think about someone in your past who you genuinely trusted. A mentor, a close friend, a teacher who actually changed how you think. I'd bet almost anything they had this quality. They didn't talk to you the same way they talked to everyone else. They somehow saw you and adjusted to you. They made you feel like the conversation was built for you. That's not a coincidence. That's a skill. The difference between the manipulator and the genuinely magnetic person isn't the behavior. It's the intention behind it. The manipulator adapts to extract something from you. The rare personality adapts to connect with you. Same mechanism. Completely different soul behind it. Now rethink some of the people you wrote off as fake. Some of them probably were. But some of them were just more socially fluent than you were taught to appreciate. Now, and this part matters, I am not going to pretend this has no shadow side. It does. When you're skilled at becoming what the room needs, there's a real risk. You can lose the thread back to yourself. You adapt so often, so smoothly, that one day you sit alone in a quiet room and you genuinely don't know what you want, what you think, who you actually are when no one's watching. That's not strength, that's drift. And there's another risk. When you're good at reading what people want, you can slip into telling them what they want to hear instead of what's true. Not because you're evil, because it's easier. Because conflict feels dangerous to someone wired for social harmony. Over time, that erodes something real in you. So yes, the ability to adapt is powerful, maybe one of the most powerful social skills a human can develop. And yes, without an anchor, without a core sense of what you actually value, it can hollow you out. Both things are true at the same time. The skill isn't the problem. The absence of self-knowledge beneath the skill, that's where it gets dangerous. Here's what I want you to hear right now. If you've spent your life feeling like you don't quite fit anywhere, like you're a slightly different person in every room, and wondered if that makes you a fraud, it doesn't. If you've ever walked away from a conversation and thought, was that even me? Not because you lied, but because you just fit in so naturally, that's not weakness. That's actually a form of intelligence that took you years to develop, probably because you had to. Because early on you learned that the environment required it, that love or safety or belonging had conditions, and you got very, very good at reading those conditions. You're not fake. You're not a chameleon in the bad way. You're someone who learned to survive, and maybe even thrive, by understanding people at a level most never bother to. The only question now is whether you're doing it consciously, on your own terms, from a place of actual choice, or whether it's still running you the way it did when you were just trying to get through the day. Because when you take that skill and pair it with genuine self-knowledge, with actual values underneath the adaptability, that's not fake, that's rare. And the world doesn't just reward it. The world needs it. The world doesn't reward authenticity. It rewards adaptability. But the deepest version of that, the version worth building, is being adaptable and rooted, fluid on the surface, solid at the core. That's the balance most people never find. If something in this video hit you somewhere quiet, sit with it. You don't have to do anything with it right now. But if you want to go deeper, I made a video about why highly intelligent people struggle socially in ways that most people completely misread. It might explain something you've felt for a long time but never had the words for. It's right here when you're ready. And if this kind of psychology actually helps you, subscribe, because I make these for the people who think about things a little too deeply. You know who you are.